Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steve Herod. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Herod.
That is why I am in software. Exactly right there. So thanks for coming back this morning. It's going to be a really fun day. Yesterday we talked about infrastructure and the move from servers to clouds. We introduced the new vCloud suite. And we also talked about how we are embracing multi-cloud infrastructures, really moving to a heterogeneous world. And what I like about today, as we go to talk about end users and how we access our applications and our data, is it's fairly parallel. We're going to talk about a suite of products that come together, and we're also going to talk about heterogeneity, a lot of different applications, a lot of different devices. So let's dive right in here. Now, last year we actually came up and we talked quite a bit about a vision for how things came together, and we introduced several concepts. You heard about App Blast and Horizon. You heard about things you were doing to try and bring devices together with virtual phones. But what I really want to talk today is how that comes together. It's the exact same vision, but this year we're delivering on it. And we've talked about this, and in fact, it's a pretty well-discussed topic at this point. We used to have a great world where you had one device. It was offered to you, and it was the place that you did your work, and it was called a desktop, and literally you would go to it at your desk and you would work on it. But as we know now, there's so many different new devices coming in, there's so many different application types that we all know we can't recognize this and use this model any longer. Now, we're calling this a lot of different things. You might call it the consumerization of IT. You might call it bring your own device. I think there's also something else going on right now, which is all of the consumers are becoming a bit more savvy as well. I've heard this called the IT-ification of consumers at the same time. So these are all the trends that are just saying we can't do the same way where you're issued a company-owned device, it stays in one place, and you work on it. Again, pretty well understood at this point. But what's also been really missed among this is how hard life has become for anyone out here as a desktop administrator. Again, in the desktop world, it used to be pretty easy. You could have one device, and people got pretty good at having a management tool that could work on that particular device. But as Paul used to say, a lot of other animals have been entering the zoo. We used to have these new laptops coming in, whether they be PCs or whether they be Macs. We have a number of different mobile devices coming in as well. But what you miss sometimes is on the IT side of the house, each of these comes with its own point solution, or a number of different solutions are coming in that try to solve part of the problem. It might be an MDM solution, it might be some kind of secure access solution, and as a result, IT has this hodgepodge of tools together and they're having to deal with it all. The end result is certainly things like complexity for IT. That turns into cost, and it also turns into an environment where your consumers cannot use the devices they really want to use. Those are ultimately about making them more productive and getting their job done. So it ultimately helps all of people not really achieve what they're trying to do with IT. And of course, the problem continues to proliferate. Again, very well understood. So we talked last year about a fundamentally different way that we need to go about attacking this. And today I want to show the three phases that we look at for how we're going to take today's world and really turn it into something I think helps people embrace and utilize these new devices and new applications as quickly as possible. And that starts with taking your existing applications, those that we're absolutely going to be with for a long time, and transforming them, making them delivered more like a service, easily managed. The second thing that we really introduced lightly last year, and I really want to dive into more, is once you've moved some of these things into services, you need to change the way that you manage them. And we all know right now, oftentimes we're applying policy and identity to a device. And we really think differently, I think, in this world. You need to think about applying policies and identity to a person and have it take place on whatever device they happen to be on and whatever application they happen to use. So these policies should follow a human, not a particular device. And then lastly, what's most exciting is once we have all this in place, can we actually deliver an even better user experience? We're calling this the multi-device workspace, a place where you can go and have a great user experience on whatever environment you have to be in. So transformation, let's start here. Now, a lot of us in this room have been working about this for a little while, and you've heard different phases over time. I hear often the phrase, the post-PC world. But all of us know it's not a post-PC world. The PC is absolutely alive and well, and it will be for a long time. Really, it's become more of a multi-device world. And we need to think about how to embrace and help what we have today, and also embrace the new things that are coming in. Now, if you really go out there and you talk to different customers, you find that this transformation is going to take certainly a very long time. Gartner reported that only 30% of enterprises have completed their migration to Windows 7, as we have a new version coming out so far. And that leaves 70% of customers who are really trying to understand how to move forward with the latest software and move forward with these new devices. So we think migration is going to be a major focus in 2013, and we want to make it more manageable and more secure and more accessible. So as people are changing the software stack in many cases, it's absolutely the time that they're looking at a new way of delivering these desktops too. That's what VDI has been about. It's been quite a fun journey as we've watched it grow and grow. And it's about taking a desktop and moving it into your data center, where you can make it more manageable, more secure, and more accessible to a user, getting to it from whatever device you might have. And we've done quite a bit on this front. Vue has been an outstanding solution for this. And in May of this year, many of you got to take advantage of Vue 5.1. Really a great release on behalf of the team, who did a few things that are really critical for this market. First of all, it always starts with trying to make things easier to manage. And the complexity of an environment like this can be quite difficult. I really think we've shined on making it a very simple to use tool. The second has been something that has always been kind of lurking in the back, which is lowering the acquisition cost of an individual virtual desktop. As everyone knows here, you've taken desktops that used to be running on very low-end hardware for the most part, and you now moved it into your data center. And so the costs of the hardware have been relatively high. But due to a lot of great work from people in the software side of things, as well as all over the industry, especially in the storage space, have really lowered the acquisition costs through dedupe and through shared images and a number of other technologies. And then the third and most important aspect of what delivered in Vue 5.1 has been the user experience. And anyone here knows that if you don't have a good time as you're interacting with your devices and your applications, you're not going to be a big fan of this move that IT's made. So as many of you know, we put a huge effort into really making that user experience great, even when over a wide area network. Some of you actually did some tweets about the 3D gaming experience you can see if you're out there waiting in line in the labs. So we see VDI as really just a great solution for a number of use cases, and we continue to work quite hard on making that user experience great, lowering acquisition cost, and making it more manageable. What's also exciting about this particular event, again, is the number of partner innovations that have come together on this. And we recently launched something called the Vue Rapid Desktop Program. The idea here is that we can certify appliances that make it even easier to adopt VDI and roll it out into your environments very quickly. And these are really cool if you haven't seen them. That literally, you take a device, an appliance, you plug it into the network, you give it a little AD configuration information, and then you give it a desktop image that you want to push out. And depending on the device, you can literally go to hundreds of desktops that are available just within an hour. And again, extremely easy to use. And there are just a number of great partners showing this out on the stage and on the different solution booths over the coming days here. So I definitely encourage you to check them all out. Again, they're all providing a very easy way to adopt VDI and a very easy way for people to get started with this new way of delivering and consuming desktops. What I also like is it's not just about making them easier to use. Partners are beginning to think about what extra value could be done as you're delivering these desktops. And I really like a new Cisco ISR solution that's being delivered and that you can look at. This recognizes that when you have a branch office or a remote office, you want to make it very easy for people to deploy desktops like this, but you don't want them to have to administer it from the middle, from the actual branch. You want to be able to do it more centrally. It also adds things like firewalls and network services you might need at a branch, and it puts unified communications in the middle as well. So I think it's a really great example of where things are going to head, which is making it just really easy to bring manageable desktops out to branch offices, remote offices, small businesses, and even larger businesses. So I definitely encourage you to check out what's going on around these interesting appliances. Again, a really good way to deploy and use VDI. So Vue is a great solution. A lot of people are adopting it for many use cases, but we've always known that there are a couple of challenges here. The biggest challenges that we all know about are, even with all the work we've done, you're going to be offline sometimes. You're going to be a disconnected user. And also, again, there's just some really great technology going into laptops every single day, and we want to be able to leverage the full capabilities of the graphics cards, of the multimedia, of the CPUs. And so we've been thinking about this for quite a while. How can we really solve this solution in an interesting way? And many of you have probably heard me say up here on stage a few ideas that we had. We've tried things like client hypervisors and ACE and all these other approaches. And those have provided solutions for a certain set of use cases. But what we found recently is something we really like, and I wanted to roll it out to you today. And that's through an acquisition we made recently of a company called Winova, delivering Mirage technology. And this is really a different approach to solving this problem of disconnected use while having manageability in the middle. And it's really taking an image-centric approach here. So I'll give you a quick look at how this actually works. The idea is that you take an image for these desktops and you bring it into your data center, into a central place to manage it. And Winova brings a couple of really interesting technologies to the table. The first is a really clever layering technology that can decompose a Windows desktop into really the different layers that you want to care about at different times. This includes a hardware abstraction layer, where you can certainly have it deployed many different places. It's the gold image that you care about for the OS. And of course, things like your profiles and documents and applications, you want to think about those as different layers as well. So we've talked about this notion of decomposing the desktop several times. This is really a core solution for doing that. And once you have it decomposed this way, you can very easily change out the hardware layer, change out the hardware that it expects to find. And so companies today are using this to deploy it to a variety of different laptops, of course. But you can also use it as a disaster recovery solution, as we'll show. You can use it to deploy it to VDI. So again, a really nice way to keep this centralized. And a key part of that is this little green bubble you go back and forth on, which is keeping those images synchronized once you've deployed them. And this is really key. This means that I could have something running out on my laptop, and using quite a bit of focus they have on deduplication and on really using WAN and bandwidth very wisely, you can make sure that that central image is kept very up to date. And again, that's what really allows you to start to choose different devices where you go to. And I'm going to show you this a little bit more in our demonstration. So the end result when you take this approach to the problem is still that core goal that you have, which is around central management. But in this case, rather than deploying it and accessing it over the network as we do with View, you're going to run it locally when you'd like to. And we think that's a very interesting combination. Has a couple of solutions that you'll see come out of this. One of the most common will be around disaster recovery, but certainly people are going to use this also for doing in-place migration from Windows XP to over to Windows 7, and I think that'll be interesting. So you're going to see us pull these two solutions together in an easy-to-consume way and really try to leverage the strengths of both of them. We still think View, if you're running things centrally and all of the data, all the applications stay in the data center, that's a very high security way to deliver your desktop. It allows you to choose different devices on the fly. But if you want to use offline operation and really leverage all the physical hardware that you have, we think the Mirage solution will be quite nice. And the thing in common with both of these, of course, is that you get centralized management so that IT can deal with all the challenges of a rapidly moving world around these new applications. So we put this for a great solution, and I got strong feedback after last VMworld that you wanted to hear more about our employee Vittorio and how he was doing at Virtual Insurance. So I thought now would be a good time to bring him back out, and I want to give you a little flavor for what it looks like to bring View together here. So this is a day in the life of Vittorio.
Good morning, everybody. So I just came back from a great vacation in Hawaii, and just can't stop looking at the pictures. The pool, the ponds are so great, so relaxing. But it's time to go back to work, so let me work on the presentation. I have a very important sales call later today. So let me put my final touches on the presentation here.
Vittorio?
Who's that?
This is IT. It's time to migrate your laptop to Windows 7.
But why? I've been using Windows XP for more than 10 years. I know my way around it. I'm very, very familiar with it. Can we just leave it the way it is? Plus, I'm in the middle of a presentation.
Fear not, Vittorio. With the VMware Mirage solution, your user data and profile will remain intact. And all of your critical applications are already built under the Windows 7 image. You can even keep working while we do our magic. Using this simple wizard in the Mirage Management Console, I can select the Windows 7 image, and I can assign it to the appropriate users. The in-place upgrade process starts in the background, and Mirage will also take a snapshot of the XP image to revert back to in case something goes wrong.
Well, I guess I have to trust you on this one. I see something has happening here in the background. Mirage is upgrading me to Windows 7. So I guess you're downloading the whole image down in the background while I'm working. I see that. OK. Whoop. Something is happening now. What's going on? Oh, now he's asking me to reboot. Have you ever had that feeling? Wish me luck. reboot now. Goodbye, Windows XP. And welcome, Windows 7. Welcome to 2009. There you go. So, but hold on a second. This looks like Windows 7, but I have my background there, still have my data, I have my presentation. It's like you guys forklift my data and personalization and landed it on Windows 7. Looks terrific. Okay, so I guess I can just look at my presentation, put my final touches here, put the date, save this baby, and I can now go on my sales call. Thank you.
You good? Yeah, over here. Ooh. You good?
Did just that happen to me in front of
IT?
people? I'm sorry, I messed this up.
Ask for IT.
IT, you think they can help me? IT, are you still there?
I am here. What's up?
Something happened to my laptop.
The one we just upgraded? What happened?
It got stolen.
Well, that's too bad, but these things happen. Do you have a tablet with you?
Yeah, of course I do. I have my tablet over here with me.
Awesome. You're actually in luck then.
Oh, good.
Mirage keeps a centralized virtual copy of every device synchronized within the data center. So with a few clicks, I'm going to migrate all of the content from your previous laptop to a virtual machine and load it into VMware View.
Look, that's a lot of technical mumbo-jumbo. I get you guys have big brains up there, but can you explain it to me from a user perspective?
Of course. This means that you can use the View client on your Samsung Galaxy tablet to access your desktop that's running in the data center while your replacement laptop arrives.
Oh, that sounds great. So I just launched the View client right here, loading my desktop, and loading, and there it is, just like I left it with my background. Let's see if my pictures are still there so I can show off my colleagues. Yeah, and my presentation for the customer is right there. So now I don't have any excuse. I can really go and get on that sales call. So my sales call went really well, thanks to IT that really came through for me. And on my way back, I bought a MacBook Air because I decided that to switch to that. Problem is that I never use Mac OS, and so I wonder if the IT genius can actually help me. So let's see if I can get it out. IT?
Yes?
So I decided to join your Bring Your Own Device program, or as I call it, SYOM.
What is SYOM?
Spend your own money. Isn't that what it really means? So anyway, I bought this Mac. Problem is I never use Mac OS, and I was wondering if you can help me get back to my familiar, Windows applications and data.
Absolutely. You're in luck again. We've used Mirage to migrate you from your temporary View VM that was running in the data center onto a Fusion Pro VM. This way, you can run your familiar Windows OS right there on your shiny new MacBook Air.
I see it. So I see here my Mac icons and the operating system, and then I see my Windows environment. You brought it back with all my data. So let me get this straight. You guys took me from the past of Windows XP. You upgraded me to Windows 7, preserving all my data. Then you made me mobile with my tablet. And now you landed that very same image on my Mac. You guys, wherever you are, you really rock. Thank you.
You're very welcome. But there's just one more thing, Vittorio.
What is that?
Please, be careful and watch your step so you don't get your laptop stolen again.
Okay, thank you, Tom Nickel from the Mirage team. And thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Vittorio. It's so special to see Vittorio coming out of his shell these days. It's great. So let me just walk through real quickly how we pulled together the Mirage and View solution again, just so you get a feel for what he showed you here. So again, he had a Windows 7 upgrade happen in place on his laptop, and the synchronization was going on in the background as it's doing smart dedupe to make sure that the master image in the sky was kept up to date. Then when it was stolen, he was able to go pretty quickly over to a laptop, and there was a deployment from Mirage into the VDI world. And again, that made it very easily accessible over the network at that particular point. Again, things are synchronized there. And then ultimately, he went out and bought a Mac in this particular case. And then using the new Fusion Pro, he had a place where he could deploy it locally. So again, he could have chosen to do VDI on the Mac, or he could have chosen this new approach, which is put the image down on there, you have offline execution. So I hope that gives you a good flavor for what we're thinking about on how we can really modernize the Windows desktop and really bring it forward in a way that you can access it all sorts of different ways. Now, I wanted to actually come back to this. I had a lot of fun yesterday with Robbie coming up on stage, and I think a lot of people are trying to friend their servers at this point. And so I thought I'd give you a little flavor for something else we're doing in R&D, thinking about an innovative approach to how we access Windows when you're in one of these new tablet worlds. And one of our engineers, Daniel Beveridge, has been thinking about this, and I thought I'd have him show you a quick video of what he's looking at.
Thanks, Steve. One of the common uses for VDI and Windows application remoting in general is the delivery of Windows desktops and applications down to non-Windows tablets. Now, no matter how good your graphics protocol, accessing those point-and-click interfaces can sometimes be a challenge on a gesture-oriented tablet. In fact, for me, sometimes it feels like I'm navigating the web on an Etch-a-Sketch. But that's just me. So VMware's been working hard on these challenges, and we've developed some advanced development technology we're calling user interface virtualization. Also known as Project AppShift, this technology transparently transforms key elements of the Windows desktop and application interface to produce a rich tablet-friendly UI. Let's take a look at some of the capabilities. So one of the main things we do each day is launch documents and applications. Rather than fumble with the start menu, we've transformed key elements that users interact with into a swipeable native tablet UI, such things as recent documents, content of the desktop, and the traditional application start menu, all swipeable, all native. Another tedious task on tablets is switching between running apps. Here we've transformed this activity into an easy album cover flow style of navigation, complete with live thumbnails and an easy to navigate task tray in the lower right corner. This just makes navigation so much easier, Steve. Another challenging aspect that we have to face on tablets when using remote Windows apps is the experience of selecting text and other clipboard activities. We've been able to use the UI virtualization techniques to replicate a native text selection experience, giving you a much more intuitive look and feel. You can see here that you actually can use large tablet-side widgets. We're even able to demonstrate the transfer of clipboard content from a remote Windows application down to a tablet-side clipboard and even able to be entered into a local tablet-side application, here in this case Evernote. So you're seeing the contents of the Windows clipboard copied and placed into the tablet-side application. That's fantastic. So hopefully this exciting sneak peek has given you all an idea of how Windows desktops and applications can be much more intuitively represented on tablets. And this is just the beginning of what's possible with the user interface virtualization techniques.
Very cool.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for showing us that. That's really great stuff. Once you get to see this, you really understand how intuitive you can take your same apps and make them feel a lot better to use and a lot more useful when your fingers are large, for instance. So that's a real quick look at the transformation stage. Again, how do we take your existing Windows apps and make them more manageable and more accessible? I want to shift now to the other two parts we talked about. And this is really about how we can broker things in a different way. How can we let someone who has a lot of different devices, a lot of different apps, get to them safely? And then ultimately, what is this multi-device workspace, and how can we actually make that work? This is ultimately about how do we empower a more mobile workforce for all of us. So we showed really the world where you have the Windows applications, but I think everyone knows now we have more apps than ever. And these certainly might be Windows applications, they could be mobile applications, software as a service, web applications that you've written yourself. These are all growing quite aggressively. And what's more, there's data that you might have that's tied to any one of these particular devices you happen to be on. And we've talked about this challenge quite a bit. Last year we announced this vision where we want to actually create one common app store for all these applications to come to, where IT can offer them up to users, and users can go to access them. We also talked about the need to get data out of the silos of particular devices it's on and pull it out, as we talked about Project Octopus. And then right in the middle of this has to be a very important switchboard, a broker, that's going to be the thing that does the connection of an individual to all those applications and data. And what's more, I think it's really important to think about this as the right place to do identity management and the right place to do security and policy. And so you'll see a number of interesting partnerships that we do to really try and make that be the hub where you're really trying to make sure things are safe and compliant. So that middle area is something we called Horizon last year. And over the last year since we did the keynote, we've been really going through and showing a number of tech previews and getting a number of betas out there. We've launched Horizon App Manager, which actually now has ThinApp integrated to it as another type of application you might consume. A number of you are in the very large Project Octopus beta, where we had a standalone way of doing essentially Dropbox, but for the enterprise, where your data could be on-premise or off-premise, and with substantial policies put around it. So we've gotten a lot of good testing in, and great customer feedback on each of these, but we also got very clear affirmation of what we thought was the case, which is no more point solutions. Don't give me yet another solution to deal with. I want these to be pulled together quite nicely. And that's what we're very excited to announce today, which is the new Horizon Suite. And we really do see this as the industry's first ever integrated platform for addressing all the aspects of workforce mobility. This is very exciting. You can have it in alpha right now, and it'll be in beta by the end of this year. And I think you're going to be very excited about what you see inside this product. Let me give you a quick look at this. So again, stepping back, how does it work? Its job in life is to take applications and data, and now we're also announcing that it can broker out desktops as well, and bring them out to whatever device you happen to be on when you access the system. Again, you want to keep all of this in a very safe way with the policies that you might put within Horizon. And what's really exciting about this, too, is that one of those solutions, it really does benefits for IT. It also has great benefits for me as a user of this. Many of us at VMware are using this today. And what I think you need to think about is that each experience has to be better with the suite for people to want to adopt it. So let's talk, first of all, for me. I do get one workspace where I go at work. I can log into this, and whether I'm on my mobile device or whether I'm on my laptop, I get a set of applications that I can go to. It's also a common place where I can go when I want to get my applications and the data. So this is how we've integrated directly into the system. We're now calling it Horizon Data. This is what Project Octopus was, and it's now integrated directly in there. Vittorio told me I should show a red Ferrari. I don't know if you remember that from last year. But again, this is data that follows you wherever you go, and it's something that can be safe and managed with policies from within IT, but all within this central management. And then lastly, what you'll see when you go into this product is that we can deliver desktops as well. And this is where you can get access to your full VDI desktop. So View has been integrated here. And what's also interesting, you can't really see it in this particular site, but last year we made a lot of news around App Blast. And if those of you are here, you heard this was a great way to deliver a great user experience, but using HTML primitives. So you're going to see App Blast roll out as technology in a lot of different ways in this suite. Initially, we're going to use it to deliver desktops to whatever browser that you happen to have. So that's also a very exciting use of that technology. But again, the big focus here has been how do we help IT as they help people through this transformation. Again, they're used to a hodgepodge of tools right now. And we want to have something where end users are getting this great, efficient access to everything. But we really want to offer up to IT some form of centralized management where they can put their policies for all of the services across all their devices. And again, ultimately the goal is to have everyone be more productive at work and have IT have a fighting chance of keeping costs in control and also keeping things secure. So now we're going to jump over and really look at what it means to be an administrator on the new Horizon Suite. I'd like to welcome Ben to tell us about this.
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
Great.
So we're going to show for the first time anywhere the alpha of the administrative experience for the Horizon Suite, since you just showed the front end. And what we wanted to do here was have a single place where an administrator could manage all of the resources for an end user. So let's go ahead and log in. And the first thing we see when we log in as an administrator is we see a dashboard. This shows us the status of all the running services. So we see things like data, web applications, mobile, View, and ThinApp. Now what's important to notice here is that Horizon Suite is actually going to be delivered as a VApp. And what that means is we're going to have a single install. You'll pick which one of these components you want to use, and then we'll automatically deploy it as a virtual appliance in your vSphere environment. So the time to market for this is going to be, time to value for this is going to be off the scale. So we're really excited about that. So let's go in and show you what we've done with the catalog. Now last year, when we did the demo, everything was focused on web applications. That was a functionality that's been there. But what's new that we're excited to show here is, in addition to that, we have the capability of managing mobile applications, iOS and Android. We also have the capability, as you mentioned, to manage the thin app, the web-based applications as well. And this is what's new right here. We're really excited about this. So we have a capability that we call services, and this is an extensible interface that really allows us to add any type of application or service right into Horizon. So this is how we brought in Data, the project formerly known as Project Octopus, and some other stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen published applications before. What is that?
So we're very excited to announce that Horizon Suite will have the capability of managing XenApp. So what that means is we'll be able to expose XenApp published applications right into that end user workspace you just showed. Users will launch them right through there, right next to their thin apps and other applications. We also can manage XenApp right from this from this administrative interface. So one place to manage everything. So user entitlements, all of it right here. Cool. So let's go into Horizon Data a little bit here and show you some of the new management stuff we've done. So this is identity-focused management. We're able to actually, based on a user's identity, we can set their group and user entitlements. We also have this new concept we call class of service. And class of service is where we really expose the capability to do context and policy management. So we're going to click into this class of service, which is our executive class of service. This is actually going to apply to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we give you an account quota that's large enough, because the last thing we want you to do is use one of those non-secure cloud-based file sharing services. We want to keep it in our Horizon Data. You'll see we have a series of all data-specific policies that we have the capability of setting here. We also have context-specific stuff, including capabilities around mobile. Let's save that. So it's really that simple for us to go and create a data policy, assign it to users, and give them access to Horizon Data. Let's now show how easy it is to add an application. So we'll go into the catalog, and we'll add an application. And we have a couple options about how we do applications. We have a VMware curated global catalog we can add applications from. We also have capability to support the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. We also have the capability for administrators to upload their own applications as well. So let's do this from the VMware curated catalog. Let's pick Salesforce with a single click. Boom, it's in my catalog. And now let's assign it to a user based on identity. And in this case, we're actually going to assign it to all the users. So we'll go in here, we'll add a new group. We'll go add, boom. Now I also have a choice around deployment type. Now this is very interesting. We have two options here. The first one is user activated. User activated allows the end user to go up and request access to the application without talking to IT. This fulfills a very important need, which is for IT people, the people in the room, to talk to end users less. So let them request it on their own. You don't want to have to talk to people like Vittorio. So let's go here to automatic. And the reason we're going to do that is that'll make it automatically deploy right into the workspace. So we'll click automatic. We'll hit save. And it's really that easy. In a matter of clicks, we went and added an application to the catalog. We entitled it to users. And now we'll show it's available inside the workspace.
Very cool. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Great, so that was a look at the administrative side of the new Horizon Suite. Very cool. And I think what you also saw there at the end is how you can deploy applications. So kind of just to be clear there, you could actually push applications. You could make it something that I need to go out and do user activation when I want to do it. And so just in my workspace, as a result of what Ben showed there, Salesforce has now showed up as another option. I can just get going and just get the job done that I want to do. Now, the other thing interesting about this is that you saw we're able to take applications and deploy them. And we've talked about mobile applications for a little while now. What you know about mobile applications, especially ones that are tied to your work, are that they're most likely going to run on a device that really blurs the line between your personal life and your work life. And so for a while now, we've been talking about a really interesting approach to doing this, where we're actually to make a virtual machine for the phone and deliver a full virtual phone. This is part of the suite. It's called Horizon Mobile, and it's alive and well. There's actually some great announcements coming out relatively soon. But what's been interesting, when I go out and talk to a number of customers, they say, that is a great solution for Android, but I have another phone that I want you to work with. What do you think that is? Windows Phone, exactly. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, it's iOS. And so we've been thinking about it quite a bit. What can we do for iOS? And today we're announcing a different sort of container that we can deliver in this environment, one that fits the Apple model a little bit better. And that's around wrapping applications in a new type of container that can keep them safe, isolated, and put policies around them as well. And this is very important to the overall solution. It allows you to deploy applications into the iOS device, but you can make sure that the data stays encrypted, that networking goes to an encrypted link. You can even do things like not allow cutting and pasting and other policies in place. So I thought now we could just take a moment and have Ben show us what the new iOS container looks like.
Thank you, Steve. So we have here our typical iPhone, and we're going to do another BYOD type scenario. And in this case, the first thing we see when we look at the iOS screen is this is a very important dichotomy here. Here's the page of applications that every end user thinks is the most important page on their smartphone, right? So we have, in here, we have our personal apps, we have our social networks. Let's click into that. And we can see that in this BYOD scenario, the personal application performs exactly like I would expect it to. I click on it, it launches, I see my data. So let's go back to our main screen, and we'll swipe over to the screen that you guys think is the most important thing on their iPhone, which are the corporate applications. And in this case, we have all our corporate applications here inside of this folder. Now, these corporate applications, one of the things you'll notice is they have a little badge on them. We actually call it a beard. It's a little icon that denotes that these applications are being managed by Horizon Mobile. What's also important to understand here is that these apps are in a container, so they're secure. They're protected from anything else running on the phone, including the personal apps. So now we're going to click through here, and we're going to go into our app catalog. As you remember, during our earlier demo, we entitled the user to Salesforce. So here it shows up inside of our app catalog. Let's add it. And we'll see the process that automatically Horizon will go and deploy it. So just like the experience with a normal Apple App Store, it works the same with the app catalog. Once again, we see the beard, which denotes that it's a Horizon managed application. We're going to move it back into our folder. Now, the behavior of the applications is going to be a little bit different. So just like we expected the behavior on our personal applications to start right away, our behavior on our corporate applications is going to be a little different. So let's click on the mail application. And we can see here that Horizon is prompting you to authenticate before it lets you use this mail application. So let's go ahead and do that authentication. And we'll go in here and we'll click on an email, because there's something interesting here. So this is an email I received telling me that they're going to give me some confidential information. Now, you'll notice I had opened this email earlier on my desktop. When I opened it on my desktop, I saved it into my Horizon Data folder, because by virtue of doing that, it'll now be available to me on my mobile device here in this secure container. So if I go here and I try to open it, what we'll see is that I see this secure information I'm not supposed to share. So like any good user that, of course, follows all corporate policies, what am I going to do? I'm going to go copy this information. And of course, I have no malicious intent whatsoever. This is all simply an accident. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to go paste it inside of a different application so that I can use it later. So in this case, we'll go into Evernote, we'll open up a note, and we'll paste this information. Or maybe not, because even though I conveniently forgot about the corporate policy, Horizon didn't. And as a result, we can actually control what goes on both inside the workspace and what goes on outside the workspace.
Very cool. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good. So yeah, I think this is exciting for a couple of different reasons. One is we're certainly recognizing that there are different containerization technologies. They're both intended to really keep your applications safe, but allow IT to have policies around them to make them protected from a device where you're most likely mixing personal life with work life. And what's also exciting is that from Horizon's standpoint, this is yet another type of application that it can manage and bring policies to. As you saw before, we can do that for your existing VDI desktops. We can do it for SaaS apps. Now we're showing a couple ways to do it for mobile applications, and we even showed how you can do it for XenApp. So it's really important that this has an extensible architecture and can become the place where you have one tool, again, instead of a hodgepodge of different tools to do all these different cases. So again, just to sum up what we're doing here with the new Horizon suite is we're trying to provide value to two sides of the equation, which again, almost never happens in an IT solution. As a user, I get consistent access to all my applications and data from whatever device I happen to be on. I have a clear separation of my personal and work life so that I can make sure that I'm compliant and doing the right things there. And then I have choice of a lot of different devices. And you can see with all these different delivery mechanisms, we want to give you the best environment for the particular device that you have. And again, very important is that we have something for IT that's very important here. Let's get rid of all of these different tools and all these point solutions and try to provide something that's integrated and has to be extensible to support what we have today, but all the new technologies coming from VMware and from other partners as well along the way. And ultimately, IT is getting centralized management and a way to enforce policies, which in turn help them be compliant and be safe with the corporate data. So this is the new suite. There's quite a bit more to learn about it. It's very exciting, and you should get your hands on it too to try it out. I definitely recommend you go by the booth a little bit later, and a number of good sessions going on today as well. So great new suite and a great addition to the overall strategy we have for end user access in the enterprise. So just to recap, what we showed you here today were really two solutions to helping us move forward where we have a world of a lot of different applications and devices. First, we showed you how we're taking View forward and making it a great way to have remote access to your desktop. But we also showed how to pair it up with a new technology called Mirage to also give you a managed desktop, but in an offline world. Then we're also transforming those Windows desktops at the same time we make it easier to deliver to a multi-device, a mobile workforce, and a new way of approaching the way that you do IT and end-user access. And so that wraps up this section of the keynote. I want to recap what we talked about yesterday is actually fairly similar in a number of ways. We're getting a very clear message that we should deliver suites, things that are very easy to use and not a different set of point tools. So we're doing that on the vCloud suite, as well as here on Horizon. And we're also embracing heterogeneity, making sure that we can work with everything you're using in your environment. And that's a good segue into the partners. And Pat opened with this earlier yesterday, which is really this huge set of solutions that are coming here together. And so we're going to try something new here for the first time, which is the VMworld contest. And what we've been invited to do is have all the Diamond sponsors come out, and they have exactly 4 minutes to present something interesting they're doing in terms of an integration with either the infrastructure side of the world that we've delivered or on the end user side. And what's exciting is that each of them have picked a charity that they care deeply about. And you all should get your phones ready in just a moment. We're going to do some surveying here. You get to vote at the end on your favorite demo from one of these partners, and VMware is going to make a sizable donation to the charity of their choice. So those of you that haven't, get your phones ready. And at this point, I'm very happy to start off with our good partner, Cisco. All right, please join me in welcoming Jimmy Ray Purser and Rob Boyd.
Check it out!
All right, guys, you got to be interactive on this whole thing. Hey, guys, welcome.
Hello.
Tell me about TechWise TV. What is this?
We are a customer-facing show that just makes networking technology accessible to our customers.
Okay, and you're going to talk to us about VM mobility. What's that all about?
VM mobility. You know, a pretty interesting thing here, Steve, is this is probably the only time you're ever going to see two Cisco guys on stage not trying to sell you something. We're going to talk about something open source, it's groovy, and it's a way to design data centers for mobility.
All right, you have precisely 4 minutes, take it.
All right.
All right, man, let's get her done.
All right, listen, I love this idea of Lisp so much that I wrote a song.
You wrote a song. We got
Let's go,
4 minutes, and you wrote a song.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Well,
hear
I'm
it.
going to share this little ditty about VM mobility. Gonna tell a tale about the gist of Lisp.
The gist of Lisp. All right.
Watch this.
Hit it.
Well, as your data center grows from New York to Tokyo, and your VM starts to flow.
Wow, what a range.
Want to move. Well, LISP or network anatomy
Get it?
can help you.
I get that, yeah.
And connect. Everybody needs to move.
Let's sing it if you can.
Everybody's data needs to
I'll do something better.
Move around. Move around.
I don't want to burn your hair, man.
No, thank you.
I move my VM to another place, my address kept the same IP space. Never had to change our DNS. My
data center guy was never.
Hey, that's always good, man.
Every network you design, address space is fine. Any LAN extension, that's divine.
That's the gist of Lisp. Come on, sing along.
LISP.
They're digging.
Destiny. They're coming along.
Heck yeah.
Move
You can move around, move around, move around.
Well, dude, that may be the gist of Lisp, but there's a little more to it. We got some meat and taters here we kind of need to get into for our data center folks out here. So take a look. It really comes down to three parts. We've got our identity, which is broken up by our IP space, or our address space, our EID, our equipment identifier, and our RLOC. That's what really makes Lisp kind of happen here, is we're separating that IP space based on a geographic identity and how it connects to the network. Our hardware is what's doing the work to detect that. We're going to call those tunnel routers. And then our software is what maps all this stuff together and really makes everything work. That's the glue
all three things.
Of getting this thing. Right, so let's get in here and take a peek at it, because one of the things that we know when we're designing out a data center is it's got to be transparent for our users and for our customers. So since VMs are no longer coupled to hardware anymore, man, I don't miss those days, huh?
No.
Decoupling is how it goes. So as we're moving VMs in and out of this cloud, we want to make sure that they're easy to find, that it's transparent for our customers to connect to. Now, the great thing about Lisp, besides being free, is that this will work on layer 2 if you're doing LAN extensions. It'll work on layer 3, so if you're doing cloud bursting. And you know, it really comes into play like if you're having an environmental condition like what's going on in Florida, and you got to bring up a disaster site really quick, but we don't want to go and update DNS entries and have stale entries and all that stuff, and you have timeouts. Nobody wants that,
No mobility there.
So as you're moving through, your tunnel router picks that up, and it keeps updating this mapping server, so your user is always knowing how to connect back and forth to these devices. It never gets stale. It always gets new, and it's great, man. I mean, that is truly, in my opinion, the gist of Lisp. So if you look at designing out your network today, you're looking at designing out your data centers, this is probably the one piece that will make every solution you see on the floor, make everything you see from folks up here talking, really work. It's that underlying stuff. You know, the software looks cool, but I've got to have something to make that move. I can't move traffic until I got a bridge, right? And then, to me, that's true love, man.
I wrote a love song, and you scratch it in a tree.
Well, hey, if you got a love song, let's sing it. We got
Steve,
4 seconds.
That is Lisp.
Precisely on time. You had 4 minutes to the nose, so thank you. Please tell me, which charitable organization are you playing for?
We're playing for Kaboom, which is a nonprofit organization that builds playgrounds for kids who don't have the ability, like in large cities, to get that creative juices out.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. So everyone take out your phones. After each session, we're going to do a quick polling question for you, something about the technology you just heard about. So in this case, which of the following options includes the 3 important things to understand and remember? So this is something that the guys here just taught you. Cue the music. Hardware identity software. Looks like the results are coming in. Guys, what do you think?
That's pretty cool.
Interesting. Okay.
Roughly as expected?
I think I'm more surprised how Steve is dressed. He's wearing parachute pants yesterday. You remember that?
Excellent. On that note, thanks, guys, very much. We're going to move on.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you, everybody.
Rock on!
I have to admit, I've been humming that song in my head every day since the rehearsal yesterday. So now I'd like to welcome a partner, Dell.
I gotta figure this out. I want to focus on innovation, but my data is doubling. Servers are maxed out. I need to think about something else for that.
With Dell's virtualization and enterprise solutions, Doug can shift 50% of his company's IT spend from operating costs to innovation. So his company runs better, and so does Doug. Dell, the power to do more.
Thank you. Please join me in welcoming Drew Engstrom. Hey, Drew.
How you doing, Steve?
Welcome.
Hey, impeccable drum work before. We were backstage watching. You look like a very young Neil Peart.
I'm keeping my CTO
congratulations.
Job. So I've actually known you for quite a while. I believe you were at one of the earliest VMworlds.
Yeah, you know, I presented at the very first VMworld in San Diego, and I dug up my presentation. It was pretty funny to see some of the things we were talking about then. Dell was suggesting that you should buy scale-out servers instead of scale-up. And then we were talking about putting GSX back in the lab, and that ESX might be ready for production. So it's kind of fun to see how fast and how far you guys have come and this industry has come.
I love it. Thanks for the long partnership. And which charitable organization is Dell playing for?
Dell is playing for the Girl Scouts of America.
Okay, excellent. You have 4 minutes, so show us what you have.
Thank you very much. Someone sent me a quote recently that said, "Good design is obvious, great design is transparent." And today, using the Dell vStart 1000, I'll highlight some great designs, not hardware designs, but designs optimized around people and the way they work. The vStart 1000 is a pre-engineered solution that's built of Dell Force 10 networking, Dell PowerEdge servers, and Dell Compellent storage, as well as Dell management software that ships as an appliance integrated with vCenter to support a vSphere environment. It's a great foundation for a cloud. Now, I'd love to keep showing you beautiful pictures of nice hardware with shiny bezels. It's kind of cool. But what matters most from a design perspective for end users is the ability to deliver a management experience. And so today, we're going to talk about how Dell has integrated infrastructure management directly into VMware vCenter. Now, what you'll see are some seamlessly integrated capabilities, some of which you would expect, things like inventory, alerting, and status. But there's also some very unique capabilities, such as warranty status and removal, phone home support service, and firmware updates. In this case, what we're looking at is a vCenter administrator updating a server's firmware. Now, when a new server is added to your Dell vStart environment, it automatically shows up in vCenter ready for provisioning. What we're looking at here is an administrator choosing a deployment template to automate this process. What we found at Dell is we were able to reduce the steps for this process from 90 down to about 12. And as we transition here from a server context to a storage context, the same design principles hold true. We're seeing here how simple and fast it is to add a new data store into the environment directly from vCenter. As we're watching this, I want to point out something important. Dell's design philosophy isn't to turn every vCenter user into a hardware administrator. Our goal is to present the vCenter operator with only the infrastructure capabilities that he or she needs to go deliver results quickly and in a context that makes sense and in a behavior that makes sense for that context. Now, this kind of end-to-end efficiency you see is critical when it comes to supporting workloads like desktop virtualization. And one of the reference architectures that a vStart 1000 runs is an end-to-end deployment of VMware View. Now, virtual desktops present a unique performance challenge, especially from an I/O perspective. And in this architecture, we're able to leverage client-side caching from our Dell Weiss devices with Dell's fluid data architecture, which automatically tiers storage. Simply put, with this architecture, you can support more high-performance desktops for the same amount of storage capacity. As far as the client device itself, this is pretty exciting because it's using a brand new Dell Weiss P25 Zero client. This client is designed specifically for VMware View, and it's a PC over IP technology that delivers uncompromising graphical performance with support for things like multi-display. It's very cool. Of course, no matter how effective your infrastructure is, stuff happens, especially in a virtual desktop environment. And so this system is running Dell AppAssure to ensure data protection. In this quick example, we're going to delete a drive, and then using AppAssure's live recovery capability, you'll see we get near instant reuse of the server direct from the backup file. This significantly reduces recovery time objectives across physical, virtual, and cloud-based data stores. As I wrap up, I encourage you to visit Dell's booth in the Expo and learn more about our great designs that are delivering great results for our customers right here and right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Drew. Wow, right on time. All right, so get your phones out. Drew has a question for everybody, so let's see what we're going to ask here. Over the next 3 years, how do you plan to manage your hardware infrastructure for your VMware environment? And please choose one of those three. What do you think, Drew?
You know, that doesn't surprise me. We've been asking these questions to our customers for a long time, and it usually segments by customer size. So this is a good indicator.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great. All right, everybody having fun? This is going to get extra good as the contest heats up here towards the end. At this point, I'd like to welcome our good partner, EMC.
How tricky and we know it.
Direct from Chad's world, please welcome Chad Sakich. Chad's ready for the contest.
Ready for the contest. The first inaugural Diamond sponsor Hunger Games.
I love it. Hunger Games, nice. So you spend a lot of time talking about all sorts of things with everybody. What are you seeing specifically in the storage space that's interesting right now?
You know, we're seeing our customers transform using our integrated technologies. It's changing the way they do their data centers. We're seeing a lot of uptake of scale-out NAS, scale-out storage architectures, which is cool. VMware integration is the deciding criteria for the customers. And the other thing that is cool is people are realizing big data can transform their business in big ways, which is cool.
Lots going on, all right.
You gotta love Hadoop.
Which charitable organization is EMC playing for?
The Wounded Warriors Project, which is a great, great charity.
Okay, excellent. All right, Chad has exactly 4 minutes, so take it.
And everybody who knows me knows that I'm always on time with demonstrations. So what we're going to be demonstrating here is some stuff that we've jointly developed around the software-defined data center. About 2 years ago, we decided certain capabilities should really be embedded into vSphere. And one of them, particularly for smaller customers, is backup and recovery. So this, you can see here, is the new vSphere 5.1 UI, and there's this new vSphere data protection capability. Within a few clicks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a backup job. I'm going to navigate through the vCenter instance. I'm going to open up the data center, look at this cluster, and I'm going to select the individual VMs that I want to back up. The next step in the sequence is to say, look, a backup always has got a backup schedule, so we'll do it daily. You could do this on a high degree of frequency, however you want. And then the retention interval. So let's just quickly change this here to 30 days. And at the end of it, we'll give it a creative name, something like, let's see, VM group backup. All right. And at the end of this, in 5 clicks, we've created a backup job. Simple, easy, embedded, directly in the vCenter UI. Now, obviously, these backups are actually leveraging everything in vSphere data protection APIs, leveraging inline deduplication technology. This is actually a joint project where we've embedded Avamar technology directly into the vSphere suite. And one thing that's very, very cool about that is not only is it very, very fast and very, very efficient, it uses a variable length inline deduplication technology, which means that the single VM that we just backed up is only using about 5 gigs worth of storage to store a 15 gig VM. Now, if there's any Avamar customers, are any Avamar customers out there? All right, you happy? Woo! All right. So very often what they found is with thousands of VMs, they're finding deduplication ratios that are like 90%, 99%. It's absolutely awesome. Now, the other thing, of course, that you want to do is you want to be able to do recovery. So recovery is just as easy. You can navigate to the individual VM. We can select the thing we want to back up and recover, and we're going to click Restore. Now, what's cool about this is it's actually leveraging also change block tracking, which is a vSphere API for recovery. It's a really unique capability, and what it means is that recovery can happen about 30 times faster than any other approach. And again, this is built into vSphere 5.1, which is really, really cool. Now, another thing that's very important to understand about that is it's super, super, super fast. So when we do the restore, you can see that the restore is going to just take a few seconds to complete for a very large VM and can happen lickety-split. Simple, easy, embedded. So 5 clicks to back up, just a few clicks to restore. Awesome. Now, the other use case for backup and recovery is user-directed restore. And the other thing that we did here is we made it simple and easy for users to back up and recover their own files. So there's a portal where I can log in as a user, and as I go through and I finish logging in, we're using the same Flex-based UI that's used everywhere in the new web client, which is absolutely awesome. For EMC customers out there, EMC customers, raise your hands. Thank you for being EMC and VMware customers. This is also the same UI framework that we use in Unisphere and ProSphere. So you can see, again, great tight engineering between VMware and EMC. I'm going to select a recovery point. I'm going to mount it. And then I, as the user, can navigate to the files that I want to recover myself. So this is backup as a service, in essence. I'm doing it myself. So I'm going to navigate down to where this thing was backed up. And it's on my desktop. This is...
Ooh, Chad, out of time. Well done, though. Excellent, excellent demonstration.
And I've recovered my files.
All right. The Hunger Games is not for the weak. All right, we have a question for the audience as well. What do we have here? So who do you want to provide technology for your virtualization backup strategy? And the results are, it's captivating. What do you think, your storage vendor?
I think what would be interesting is had we rephrased and said free, included with vSphere, which one would you pick?
No changes allowed, Jack. All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Steve.
Great job. All right, 2 more big demos to go. Our next partner has really announced some great solutions here at this event. I'd love to see some of the integrations HP is now doing with the new vCloud suite, so definitely check those out. And let's see HP, please. All right, please join me in welcoming Nigel Cook. All right. Hey, Nigel. Thanks for coming out and doing this. I know you spend quite a bit of time on the road talking with a lot of customers. What are you hearing these days about cloud computing?
You know, I was talking to a customer of ours in the financial services sector and telling them about how Cloud System automates how they manage their server, their storage, their network, infrastructure resources for VMware, vCloud provider, virtual data centers or VDCs. I tell you, the customer got very excited. He said to me 2 things. First thing, this automation is going to help IT become much more responsive, which is great. Second thing, and this is the kicker, is that the automation is going to help the use of infrastructure be much more consistent across the data centers worldwide, and that's going to help with compliance and audit.
Great. You show a little bit in your demo, so let's get started right away.
Okay.
4 minutes.
All right. So this is HP Cloud System Admin Console. Cloud System is HP's platform that lets you deploy and manage your services for your hybrid cloud. Here you see 4 best practice templates. Templates drive the automation of the infrastructure lifecycle operations for your cloud services. And I'm going to start by showing you just one template that can create a provider VDC for your finance organization. The infrastructure needs of the provider VDC are described in this template. You've got the networking and VLAN specification, you've got the 4 physical servers for your ESX cluster, and 2 storage volumes are going to be used to create data stores. They're all described and defined in this template. Now I'm going to create a brand new provider VDC using this template, and I'm going to call the VDC Finance. And I'm going to set up a seed for the host name of this new ESX cluster I'm going to create. I'm going to call that Fin. And now Cloud System is going to do all the hard work. It's going to allocate 4 new blades. It's going to carve the storage volumes. It's going to allocate the VLANs. It's going to associate the VLANs with those blades. It's going to use ESX Auto Deploy to set up the cluster. And then it's going to push all that configuration information into vCloud Director. And so in the vCloud Director console, we can see there's a brand new provider VDC called Finance, automatically created. It's backed by a new 4-server ESX cluster and networking automatically set up. And those storage volumes that we carved from the 3-power array, they're now data stores inside vCloud Director. So we've shown you how in a few clicks you can quickly and simply create up a brand new provider VDC up to 2.5 times faster. But what about your existing provider VDCs? Maybe you just need to scale it because your workload has increased. I'm going to show you a new capability called Autoflex that lets you scale your provider VDC in a few clicks. Here in the Cloud System console, you can see a lifecycle menu, and we're going to choose from there the add server operation, and we're going to apply it to that ESX cluster that we just created. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set the new size of that cluster to be 6 servers. And now Cloud System's going to do all the hard work again. Find 2 new blades, load ESX, connect those blades to the existing VLANs of the ESX cluster, connect those blades to the existing VMFS file system of that ESX cluster, put that information into vCloud Director so that additional capacity is ready to be used. operations that can take hours done manually, done in a few clicks, up to allowing you to scale your VDC up to 95% faster, simply, reliably, repeatedly, using a cloud system. Now, what if that template I used to create the VDC didn't work for you? Well, just edit it. Everything in the designer is drag and drop, so if we need more storage, it's an operation just like this. And you can see just in a few seconds I've created a custom template to create the provider VDC so you can have your cloud your way. What's exciting to me about this HP technology is that we're providing a tool that lets you manage all your infrastructure, your network, your server, your storage, the setup, the ongoing maintenance, and importantly, putting all that configuration information into VMware so it's ready for use. So your cloud administrator can manage their entire cloud infrastructure through one console with just a few clicks. And for the CIOs in the audience, the consistent use of infrastructure from this tool will help you with compliance and help you with your IT agility. If you need more information, come and see us at the HP booth. We'll answer all your questions in a more relaxed pace. And I want to just thank you in advance for your support of Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, which is the charity I'm playing for. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel. Yeah, thank you. So Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America is the foundation that they're playing for. And we have one question from HP up here on the screen.
All right.
Go ahead and bring that for the audience. Which of the following is the most important task you'd like to see automated with the HP solutions? What do you think the answer is here?
Well, we'll see. I've been talking to a lot of people about this. Infrastructure lifecycle, there you have it.
All right.
Excellent.
All right, thanks very much,
Well,
Nigel.
thank you very much.
All right, last but not least, and I've been asked to ensure people the rules of this are in alphabetical order. That's why Netapp is last here. I'd like to cue the video for Netapp, please. The shortest video. And please join me in welcoming Dave Hitz, founder and EVP of Netapp.
Thank you.
So first of all, I'd like to wish you a happy 20th birthday, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's our 20th birthday, and as a birthday present, we got into the Fortune 500. So awesome timing.
Congratulations, yeah. So you didn't give us a video. What are you going to demonstrate for us here today?
I'm going to demo a data Ontap storage cluster. The problem is storage is infrastructure. It's like the plumbing in your house. How do you demo plumbing? You could pour a glass of water. Whoa, check it out, it's water. Hell of a demo.
Well, you still have to do a demo, though, so you might want to pick something.
I am going to show how one of our most innovative customers uses VMware and Netapp to provide cloud services. Peak Colo is a cloud provider. Their customers are cloud providers, and they provide the back-end infrastructure for their customers to stand up cloud services. So really cool stuff going on.
Before we start, please share what charitable organization that you are competing for.
I'm competing for Be the Match. They do DNA matching for bone marrow transplants.
Excellent. Thanks, Dave. You have 4 minutes, so show us what you have.
Let me introduce Peak Colo, headquarters in Denver. This is Luke Norris. He's the CEO, and at 10:30, I'll be presenting with Luke in room 103. This is Eric, who's actually running the demos for me. To understand the demos, you have to understand Peak Colo's data center architecture. So let's take a look at that. This is the infrastructure for one cloud. VMs on top, servers, LANs, storage on the bottom, and the whole thing managed with vCloud Director. Now the thing is, this is one cloud, but Peak Colo has hundreds of cloud provider customers. The key point here, the storage is shared. There's lots of storage systems, but Data Ontap lets you manage the whole thing as one cluster, as an agile data infrastructure. In the demo, the first demo, Luke is going to create a virtual storage system. Every customer gets its own virtual storage system, vSAN, they call it, basically like a VLAN. Think of building a real SAN. You would spend all weekend racking systems, pulling cables, configuring LANs. The cool thing about this demo is Luke does, Eric does the whole thing in 10 seconds with one command. Let's watch.
Command line.
Check it out. I am demoing a command line. Seriously? Some people say command line's not a real feature, but I put it on our feature list. I hope it wins the vote. I watched what happened when VMware tried to remove console mode. Customers revolted. We want command line. We have a GUI too. What you just saw is the software-defined data center for storage. Netapp does for storage what VMware does for servers. In the next demo, Eric is going to fix a performance problem by migrating data from one storage system to another storage system. This graph shows performance, storage system response time 5 milliseconds. Not good enough. And so Eric is going to tell the Ontap cluster, move the data to a much higher performance storage system with flash disks, with a solid state disk. So let's watch another command line.
Nice.
The key thing in this demo is what is not happening. The migration's entirely at the storage layer. VMware doesn't even know about it. So there's no vMotion, there's no configuring VMware hosts, there's no configuring VMs. Suppose you had 20 VMware hosts and 200 VMs. This one command would do it all. Cool. Performance. After the migration, the performance has gone to 0. Immortal data infrastructure. Over the years, individual storage systems will come and go, but with Netapp, the data infrastructure, the cluster, lives forever, and transparent migration is the foundation of that. Let's look at the last demo. Eric is going to save lots of money with deduplication. This is a collection of volumes on our cluster, and we can click to see the amount of savings in one volume. 66% data reduction. This is production data, VMware production data, not archive, not backup, production. We can click to see some other volumes. Luke Norris, the CEO, tells me that his average reduction over all of his data centers is over 50%. He has cut his storage costs in half. Listen, my goal is to sell you less storage. What storage vendor says that? Thank you very much, and vote for Netapp. It's our birthday.
Great job, Dave. All right, you have a question for everybody, too. Let's cue the Netapp question. Which of the following features highlighted in Netapp's demo is most exciting or interesting to you? I have an inkling on this one.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
If this is the Hunger Games, why aren't you wearing a sparkly blue suit with tall white hair? How many people saw that movie? It was extremely popular among teenage girls.
All right, thank you, Dave. And is this a surprising answer for you?
Non-disruptive data migration. I expected that.
All right, great job. See you later.
Thanks.
All right, folks. This is the moment you've all been waiting for, so make sure you get out your mobile devices. That was really a great set of demos. Just want to say it is extremely hard to do a 4-minute demo, and I think they all did great. So at this point, we're all going to vote. I want to remind you there are huge implications of this. One is going to be which is the first inaugural winner of the VMworld contest. And then second, we're going to pick a few of you and have you meet Bon Jovi backstage, and they'll be based on your voting. So definitely get out that device, and let's cue the voting. Sorry. So which was the best demo? The tension is difficult to deal with. Final votes. Final votes. Have you ever stood up doing nothing in front of 10,000 people? It's kind of awkward. All right. All right. Looks like Netapp has won a birthday present. So we are very happy to donate $10,000 to the charitable organization of their choice. And seriously, it was a great effort on everyone's part. We actually are going to make a donation to each of the charities that were brought up here today. So thank you very much to everybody. All right, and now we're going to try something a little bit hard to do. We've chosen 2 of you to get to go backstage and meet Mr. Bon Jovi. He's a fan of converged infrastructure and multi-device workspaces, so you can chat about that. So quickly, is Steve Milligan here? Jump up and be really loud and run this way. All right, we got Steve, and our second randomly chosen person, Brandon Curran. Are you here? You got to make noise. Brandon? Brandon, are you here? All right, 2 winners. Anyway, thank you very much for everyone for participating. Have a great VMworld.